Hello, hello. Just waiting to go fully live here. There. I see. Hear me? So we're ready to go. Okay. January 2nd of 2022. Holy cow, another new moon and a whole bunch of other insanity going on here. So what I wanted to talk today, and it's been a constant self-exploration today, feeling very kind of like cold, flu-like symptoms, just achy body and dry cough, and just feeling really out of sorts. I know there's massive transformation stuff going on in my body, purging stuff and different things. And what I'm really feeling is it's purifying me, and it's getting me back to be a vessel of purified love. What a crazy word. If we look at this word love from a 3D perspective, it could be considered, love could be considered the creator of all conflict in human time. It's created wars, it's broken up marriages, it's damaged children, it's caused people to kill each other, it's caused so much conflict and confusion. And love at its very base in our societal conditioning has been so manipulated, so twisted. Like, how can you have like, I love my Toyota also mixed up with I love my child, and just feel those in your heart, how different they are, that newborn child and that unconditional love feeling and that bright shining light. I've got I guess a grandniece or whatever you want to call it, that's just like barely a year old, and she just smiles and beams and walks around and touches things and explores them. And I just see the shining light in these children. And then at the same time, we're tying it to a product or a thing, or do we love our appearance? Do we love and all of a sudden there's these heavinesses and densities that come along with it. And all of a sudden it's not the same thing anymore. And we're like, holy crap, how can that exact same word be that, embody that much difference of emotions, feelings, etc.? But one's kind of manipulated and tied together to get you to buy products and stuff like that, but the other one's around unconditional love, just that feeling of innocence and purity. That's what love is. So love is the base of us all. I'm also gonna even conjecture that everything that we're following through in our life, everything like getting married and having sexuality and having children, even having a job and stuff like that, we get passion once we're in love with the thing, and that creates an energetic churning excitement, a powerful bringing forward of who we are. And that's love, and that's passion. But love can also be getting smashed open and having fights and calling people out and not being vulnerable and hiding in lies and affairs and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, it can be that innocence. Like, do you think an affair comes from the fact of somebody wanting to hurt their wife or their husband and spurn them or whatever? No, there's this like little tingle in their body that says, oh, this could be fun and this could be pleasurable, and they're not getting it in their marriage, so they go and pursue love elsewhere. They pursue it by merging with another body because maybe they didn't have enough communication, etc., with their partner. And then it creates all this anger and smashing and jealousy and explosion. But that was love in both cases. It was like, okay, I'm loving myself by maybe getting sexuality from somewhere else because it's not happening at home or whatever. And then afterwards, we're like just destroyed. The whole marriage comes apart and you're maybe 5 years crushed because this thing called infidelity or whatever. But where did that come from? It was like, oh, you made a commitment to me and there was expectations and then you couldn't honor it. And once you get underneath the energies of all this kind of stuff, you look at how disgusting it was. Nobody felt safe in their own self-love. So they kind of glommed on to somebody else. And this love, talking to each other, everybody being angry or owing each other, and that's love too, but it starts to putrefy, it starts to rot, and then everybody's angry and they want to crash and smash and hurt and destroy, because everybody was out trying to get that pure love again, because the one that they loved or what they had in their marriage wasn't working out. So they went and did something that was love as well, but now it destroyed. And then we start looking at things like codependencies in families and other things. There's love in that. There's like, oh, I love you, so don't go out with somebody outside our religion, or don't whatever, and set all these rules that protect them based on their beliefs and knowledge, which is love, but it's in a controlling way, and it says you can't choose. And then that love becomes weird, and then everybody resents each other and it gets angry, but it's love again. And then can you hate that person because they loved you in this way and restricted your whole life and told you not to, like a mother, for example, that had some kind of sexual abuse in their past or whatever. They're going to protect their child and get them to not go in the situations where that could happen. That's love, but it's also this fear of having that thing happen again or seeing it because it's in their experience. That's love as well. So we start looking at the wholeness of human experience and all these acts of love that have been perverted by our traumas and by our past dealings, our religion, what our mother thought, all our epigenetic lineage traumas. And all of a sudden, love is so twisted. It's like, what does it mean? I call it lowercase, L-O-V-E, with all lowercase letters. The love that I'm talking about, the unconditional love, is all uppercase letters, L-O-V-E, all uppercase. And it's a very, very different thing. And we have to choose to identify the difference right now, because we're trying to sort out what's the codependent, angry, messed up, kind of twisted love, and find that God love. That like, I'm absolutely perfect in everything that I've done. There's never a failure. I'm never bad. And then you can start to come back and be worthy. And then you can start to love yourself and say, holy fuck, I deserve as good as that person and that person. And then stop being this martyr for everyone, to try and love outside yourself and fill yourself with other people's love, and then just be so broken because you've given it away all over the place and you don't even know where you are. And that gets into really complicated messes where people that are empathic, you're starting to feel other people's emotions and you're starting to feel their other experiences, and you don't know why you feel bad all the time because your love has been just given out willy-nilly. That's where we're coming back to things like sovereignty. We're coming back to self-love. We're coming back to play and fun and pulling all our love back and creating this solid foundation center that's in us, that's love, capital L-O-V, love. And that's our connection to God. And once we can start to see that, and then we can start to see all the bad things that are going on in our life that aren't actually bad things. They're just like stunt walls that are put up in front of us, and we're going to crash into it head first because it's the thing that we need to learn about ourselves so that we can understand where we're not loving in purity, where we're following the old way, following the old rules, all the crap that's going on. So we just keep crashing into this stuff, and people are throwing stuff at us all the time because their version of love is mangling up with yours, and this stuff happens that we then get traumatized by, and we feel that we've been hurt and victim our whole life, but it wasn't. It was like, wake up, wake up, wake up, hit the wall, hit the wall. I've hit them 10 million times now. I'm surprised I don't have a big bony forehead like this, like a rhino or something, because I smashed into every single one of them, and they smashed me open, and my heart was smashed open, and I laid there just whimpering and whining and wondering, why did this happen again? And then I found what love really was. It wasn't this tingly, tickly feeling in our genitals or wherever it is. It was fucking being able to stand up afterwards and say, what the fuck happened? And start to shine again, and still loving, still being happy, but like, oh, I'm learning something here. Why the hell does this keep happening? Where did this come from? And then you can start to get insights. And some of that was from our family and our programming. Some of it was school and religion and other friends and past exes. And then one day we look at it and it's like, I love it all. None of this could happen. None of this whole humanity, this whole situation, this growth, this finding myself could have happened without this capital L-O-V, love. All propagated by lowercase L-O-V, love, and smashing into each other and craziness. So the capital L-O-V, love, is unconditional love. If you're like me, maybe you've loved your whole life. You're just like an open heart and everybody just comes in and helps themselves. I lived with unconditional love from the moment I came here on this planet. And I got told I was too much and too whatever. And the vultures circled all the time and they were always happy to take it and not have to give it back, because it's an invitation. That invitation, it's taken me 51 years to figure this out, but the invitation is capital L-O-V, love, unconditional love. Don't come in here asking for my love unless you're willing to give love back and live in balance. And then a magical thing happens. But if it's like, oh, I got to hold on to this because I don't have enough for myself, they'll come in and they'll quickly get tainted by the taste of the love, because it's really not what they wanted. In sharing something, what do you call it? Exponential happens. We start to expand. This other person, it's like meeting us at all these levels, and it's like, oh wow, they're not taking from me, and I'm giving from my overflow and my cup flowing over. And then something magical happens. Unconditional love comes out. Everybody sees this purity of this love without attachment and requiring, you got to stick around, you got to do these things, you got to make me feel good, you got to make me feel comfortable. That's not unconditional love. Unconditional means you do not put a condition on whether you love this person or not. And if you're not talking about things and worried about marriage difficulties and all that kind of stuff, that's your own fault. But unconditional love should mean that I can flirt with someone or I can feel comfortable with someone, and we should be able to have a discussion about that jealousy, about those things, because that's us working together to figure out, why can't I love many? And I'm not talking about polyamory. I'm not talking about all this stuff that everybody's worried about. I'm talking about any person that shows up in my life that wants to come and have a heart wide open and beautiful conversations and all this kind of stuff. That's the unconditional love. I want to have many, many, many of those people. And then when things go hard with one person, I have other people to talk to. And it's not like I've just lost half my soul and all my energy to another person. Unconditional love means you do not have to latch onto that person because you love yourself enough. You don't need to feed or fill yourself with anybody else. So now we're moving back to finding it for ourselves and then presenting it to others, and then building boundaries to say, hey, you're not unconditionally loving, or no, you're asking for my love, but you're not giving any back. And then you can stand up and say, hey, this isn't working for me. So before we all get smashed and burned, I'm not going to go that way. Or here's a suggestion. Would this be okay with you? And if they align, then they learn unconditional love too. And then everything starts to grow. You want to help your neighbor. You want to have fun. You want to give unconditionally in shares and talking with people, giving money, giving them the shirt off your back if that's what it is. But we've been so trained out of it. What's unconditional love for you? Go back in your heart to the first time you seen a newborn baby, and especially for women, because they have this emerging of this life out of their body. Even as a husband sitting in the delivery room watching my children emerge to this world, that will smash you open forever. And how many experiences of that kind of deep godlike presence do we get in our life? And that's the blessing of my three boys, is I get to see that. Now I can see that innocence still in them, even though I had a lot of codependent shit in my past and I had all my wounds and all this kind of stuff. And I worked through them and we worked together and we had lots of really hard conversations. Now we have unconditional love. My boys, when they come to visit my house, we can sit on the couch beside each other for 2 hours, barely say a word, just sitting there in the love of each other. And they're fed, they're met, there's no like chasing them to their soccer games and all this kind of stuff. Not that I don't go to them. It's like, it's not required. It's like, they just know I love them. I want to cry, because the hug, the kiss, the words, the even small gifts or just time spent together is massive. Where parents now are running for hours trying to please everyone, and they're so depleted, they're really not even able to love in that unconditional way. So just want to give people an experience of what's love, lowercase L-O-V-E, and what capital L-O-V-E is. And it's very different. And once you start living from capital L-O-V-E, unconditional love. And this is the hardest thing that I ever undertook, to go into my jealousies, to be afraid, to be uncomfortable, to be asking hard questions. Oh, the gift afterwards is massive, because now you're not with this voice in your head all the time. You're just feeling this glow in your chest, and you can't give a shit whether or not you please somebody else or help them or whatever. You just sit there and you be it. And if they can't line up with that or whatever, you walk over here or you give some kind words, but you don't have to fight. You don't have to feel smashed. You don't have to burn the bridge afterwards. You just say, hey, I'm moving over here. You're doing through some stuff. I'll be here when you need it. And when you can respect me, I'm more than happy to share anything that we need. That's unconditional love, capital LOVE. So hopefully this feels amazing in your heart. It's been amazing for me to see that and to simplify it just down to this piece, and just see everything bad as some form of love. I believe the darkest dark is the lightest light, and that's what we're learning right now. Just forgive it all, forgive it all, forgive it all, let it go. It taught you something. It doesn't define you. It doesn't mean that's all you're worthy of anymore, because we've been going through this massive university of crap, and now it's time to stand up. It's time to sweep ourselves off, water off the duck's back, start to unconditional love, and expect that to show up in every action, every piece of what's going on around us to show up. And then you're free, capital LOVE, and you're free. So take a look into that. Any question, please let me know. Thank you, Kathy. It feels so good coming out of my heart right now. So I love you all. This will serve you massively if you can just listen through and just let it settle in your heart. And it doesn't change overnight. It's not instantaneous, but once you have that glow and you know why, everything's possible. So love you all. Have a great day, and we'll talk more soon. See you later. Bye.